Still, if I have to, excuse me, if I have to find an issue here with what Team Dignitas did, it's, again, the fallback onto individual performance. When the going gets tough for Team Dignitas, they kind of hope that a star will step up and be that star player like Arkkyl did and earn them the victory. As we get into game number 2, if you want Dignitas to stay very competitive, they've got to learn how to play like as that unit, as that team. Let's head to picks and bans and see what they change or what Mouse change for game 2. Because coming into this one, I don't think Mouse need to adjust the draft at all.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. I think Mousesports' draft was really solid. Their counter ganks was also really solid. Cherryo making the rotations when it mattered at the beginning of the game, finding the cleanups. They just need to clean up their objectives. That first goal Fury cannot be stolen away. And the second one,
nope.
A sloppy engage from Nika was the final push that Dignitas needed to push Mouse off the cliff.
Dignitas still fighting for land contention right now in 3rd place, 6-2. Should they beat Mouse right in here, then they'll be 7-2, which will be a nice look. But they have to play a little bit later versus Obey, so they need both of these wins, honestly. And they're playing like it.
That's true. If they are tied at 7-3 with energy, it would go to that plus-minus game record. Right now, after this victory here, Dignitas are sitting with +8. Energy currently +10. So if they're tied at +10 apiece, it's going to go to Energy since they have that double head-to-head.
Circuit one more time, the first pick overall. This time, well, again, just like first time. Going to Team Dignitas, Mouse opted. So basically, if you guys don't know, the team that loses gets to choose where they go ahead and pick. So Mouse opt for the secondary selection. Last time they went to the Sobek and got Jermain's ROM. This time they're going to give Cherryo one of his gods and give Jermain the ROM. And I like this approach. I think that Mouse can find control in other characters. Sobek might be the numero uno guy, but can find control elsewhere. Whereas the Hebo and the ROM, I think, are much more specific god important choices.
They're playmaking gods, and that's what you're really looking for in some of these drafts. And Sobek is a very safe one for a variety to kind of make sure that he transitions very safely in the mid-game, have a lot of control under his belt, and survive against some of these Cherryo Hobwa-kinks.
The Hobwa has been really, really important for Mouse so far. And the Agni again. And again, still the ambiguity. Is this going to be the support Agni, or will this be the mid lane? I think with the Hebo selected, we kind of know that it's going to be the mid lane because you're going to lose that ability to have Cherryo on a frontline Guardian. But you never know. Mouse might go all in and have one frontliner and 4 sort of, if one frontliner, 3 carries, and then that sort of Bard support that we see Dardez play a lot.
It's possible. This is kind of the opposite of how they ran the end of Season 4, where they would do 3 frontliners and 2 backliners. So interesting to see if 2 can protect 3 this time.
That's what I love about the continuation here of Mouse, is that everybody said their play style is a gimmick, right? All you can do is play the 3 frontline. And I always said on the other side and said, no, it's just what their jungler is good at. But the nice adaptation here is that they give their support player something a little squishier, and that's been their approach. Cerberus, not squishy whatsoever, will be chosen from Mouse. We'll see if that winds up in the solo lane or the hands of Dardez himself. Whereas Dignitas rounding out their draft, Arkkyl will get the Hachiman one more time, and the last selection for the black and yellow will be the Fafnir.
Fafnir going to have a lot of extra attack speed here for Hachiman that already gets it from that Heavenly Banner. So we can see some more heavy-hitting items out of this character, maybe even some crit.
That's very true. Ymir will be the last selection here. Mouse, again, have some wiggle room. This Ymir could go many places. Honestly, I think what you expect out of this is Hebo jungle, Agni mid, Ymir solo, Cerberus support. And that's kind of a spin for Mouse because Cerberus solo is usually the go-to. But I think there is still some ambiguity, and frankly, I'm not at all going to say where these characters are going.
I'm not going to predict it either here. But I like the Cerberus with 4 magical there. Ghastly Breath definitely going to give them those extra damage numbers you need. I like Mousesports' composition. It might be a little bit too far-fetched. If Cherryo gets picked early, not looking good for them.
We'll keep an eye on this one. 2 games or 3 today?
I think this is going to go to 2. I think Dignitas should seal the deal.
Dignitas absolutely need to. They need to win this in 2 if they want to keep their land dreams alive. We'll see if they can. John, Hindu, bring us the game.
Thank you, F-Dot. Thank you, Anatoly, Finch, and Hindyman. We're going into game 2 now, and Tom's absolutely correct. Dignitas need to win this one if they want to make sure they've improved their chance to get to land as much as possible.
Yeah, obviously they can win 2 games today, and that will help succeed at 2, but it's all about what Obey do the rest of the day. But first of all, they have to get through this stumbling block that is potentially here from Mouse, although picks and bans kind of spells Dig, like Tolly and Tom were saying.
Well, who do you think will win, Mixer Chat? Go ahead and vote for us in the poll. You've been getting a little bit better at it, so kind of want to hear what you got to say.
You and Aggro always pick on chat so much.
What do you mean?
I'm supposed to be the savage, and you guys are always the ones complaining about chat.
You're right. That is kind of your thing. That's how people know you. I shouldn't take that from you. It's kind of like, you know, it's your thing.
It makes me look nice.
I don't think it does.
Oh, it does.
Just
Chat
makes it look like
knows.
you're spreading.
Oh, maybe it's like a disease of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a disease.
God, I caught the Hindu man. I'm so down to have that as a disease. I'll take
The Hindu man disease.
I'm okay.
But man, this Mouse draft, as we are ready to move into game 2 between these two teams, it looks very Mouse, doesn't it? Surprisingly, most of these things going about where you would have expected. Cherryo is going to be taking the Habwa into the jungle, again, as we would have expected.
I love Dardez as Ymir, though. It's not something we get to see too often, but I do like Dardez and Ymir. Some classic old school supports for Dardez is always going to be useful. I'm glad to see the Mouse is starting to go back to it a little bit. It's not that Dardez is a bad player on support. It's the reason we don't see him playing Guardians as much anymore. It's because he's so good in the support role that he's got so much flavor to bring to the team. But sometimes I think there's almost too much flavor most of the time, where it's just too much. It's like having spicy things when it just tastes hot and it doesn't taste of food, you know? It doesn't work as well. It's kind of how Mouse are. But this game,
it's just like spicy for the sake of spicy instead of flavor. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
I had chicken and spice, but not spice and spice, you know? I don't even taste the chicken no more.
I kind of thought Nika was going to split the speed with them for a minute. They were all like clumped up together, but Nika is going to separate there, which I'd like to see. Already the GG's coming up from Dignitas. It's over, right? Dignitas just know that's GG already, right?
I mean, Arkkyl's that confident right now, but I wouldn't want to be in this lane matchup. Dardez and Jermain, still, for my money, one of the most dangerous duo lanes on paper against any opposition. Ever since the end of the Pro League together, all the way back when on Le Myrmidons, they have actually not been scared to fight people. And a Ymir and a Rama, it's not an easy task overall to have to go into. That's a good composition for them. And you can see that Dick actually going to show him respect to the start and go, all right, yeah, let's just go do both. It sounds like a better idea.
Looks like chat's still very much leaning in favor of Team Dignitas, 84% to 16, especially after that win. But I think you're right to talk about how strong Jermain and Dardez are as a duo. Very few duo pairings have played together for as long as they have. They just really have stuck together.
Now notice what Mouse are doing here. They're actually going to try and stop the purple being done, slow it down, steal away the creeps, delaying some time on them getting this purple. Reason being is because they lose a whole wave to the tower here, do Dignitas. But they're going to be careful about taking too much.
I think that's the upgraded sprint too, as we see Arkkyl continuing to move even without the movement speed penalty. Heavenly Banner drops, but now trapped there in between the minions a little bit is Trix. Still okay. BigManTingz is making the rotation. No, the Agni's here.
They don't know it either. They're still going aggressive. Arkkyl doesn't know what's going on until his life is taken from him. Arkkyl was the one that got the kill with the Astral Arrow, and now he rolls in for the kill, for the double kill.
And they both go to Jermain. Scary.
Beautiful.
Scary if your team Dignitas Jermain can note those kills. And we talked about it. This is what Jermain and Dardez like to do. Now, this time they got a considerable amount of help from outside in the form of BigManTingz, but they baited them in. They knew that rotation was coming, and apparently Dignitas did not get the call.
I love that rotation from the mid laner, and especially against Dignitas, because everyone knows... Hang on. For a second I thought Nika might be in a bit more trouble there, but only level 2 for Rarity. But everyone knows Zyrhoes likes his farm. And Zyrhoes likes his farm more than anything else on that map. So he's going to sit in those lanes, he's going to go farm camps, whereas that means he's going to stay mid, which means he's not going to rotate as much in the early stages. Tingz rotating, surprise, cause problems.
Pluck doesn't hit, but Cobra's Kiss does. That should be all they need. QvoFred finds the first kill for Team Dignitas to try and even things back up for Dig. But you talk about how Zyrhoes wouldn't rotate. I don't know if he needs to. The call must have been coming that BigManTingz was missing, right? So Trix and Arkkyl kind of have to back up, I'm thinking.
In theory, no one really expects the mid laner to disappear like that, though. Not for as long. Ooh, Zyrhoes in a lot of trouble. Lot of trouble.
Yeah, Cherryo was able to find that with no problem.
Wait,
courtesy of BigManTingz, though. Tons of damage.
That's twice now. He's rotated round the back of the mid lane to pick up that kill there, and then on the left-hand side too. BigManTingz is a jungler now. He was a support. Yeah, switch it, camera. That's the case that's going on here. Already ganked duo lane, already ganked mid lane, technically, with what he played there. Tingz has played support mid and now jungle.
Tingz is versatile, man. He'll get just about anything done for your team. Now Jermain and Dardez rotating back in. I'll leave that one alone. Clearing the wave. Jermain and Dardez do have the lane pressure here in duo right now over Dignitas pretty heavily.
And it's a big little advantage there for Jermain because Hachiman is very strong throughout the whole stage of the game. But having Jermain get those 2 kills earlier means he'll finish off his boots a bit quicker, or even his Devoure's gauntlets, whichever one he chooses, to have this small advantage over Arkkyl. So Arkkyl doesn't get to the point he did last game with being left unchecked. There wasn't a whole lot Rama could do against that stage. This game, though, different story.
Going into the boots here is Zyrhoes. We see him start with the, looks like the tier 1 of the Warlock staff, but then goes to try and finish off the boots instead. This is something that's not entirely unheard of, Graham, but I mean, choosing to delay it a little bit, those stacks will be later coming.
Sure, but the big thing is boots is very important for the mobility. When you're against a hub war and against an Agony, you get knocked up as Zyrhoes, you may have a dash to safety, and you may have an ultimate to get you away. But when you are knocked up, you can do nothing until you land again, which is plenty of time for an Agony to hit you with a flame wave, for the water hands of death to come out, or even an ultimate or 2 from both of them. Getting the boots online means you're less likely to be in that position. Your mobility allows you to move around a bit safer.
In particular, if he goes for those cooldown boots that we've seen Discordius do, he might have his abilities up more often, can maybe jump away from Cherryo's ganks as well, too. It just depends on what Zyrhoes chooses to prioritize here in this path. He's got a lot of options available to him. Where does he end up going?
It depends on what the situation is, because she's a focus. Yes, it can be very good, but you need to buy pen earlier then, because you don't have any pen from your boots anymore. But if you go for the pen boots, you can delay, you know, getting any more pen until 4th, 5th item, which we've seen a lot of the time. I think that's the big difference now, is teams starting to work out, do we go for pen boots? And if we do, delay the rest of the pen until later. If we're going for shoes of focus, we need the pen a little bit earlier on.
I like what we saw from BigManTingz as they tried to contest those right side Harpies. Used one bomb to zone Zyrhoes away from trying to come up to help out, and then Cherryo working together with him to try and contest the Harpies over the wall, putting out the damage, just showing the range of these 2 mages they have in mid and jungle.
And now with this, it's just a bit of a waiting game for the time being. With Mouse having this lead, it's kind of up to what they want to do with it. Do they want to try to exacerbate it? And they might be able to do that as QvoFred. Awkward position. His ambush is down. Love the use of the ultimate out of him there to try and get away from some of the CC chain that was coming. But picked apart. When you don't have beads,
is that it, though? It's like you're still CC'd in it anyway, though, right? Because you're sitting still? I don't know if that's really the call. Last breath makes him an easy target. They burn him, and QvoFred falls. They were relying on him a lot in game 1.
And he was expecting, really, BigManTingz to say, well, hold up, Variety's in a bit of trouble here. Luckily, he does have his ultimate available to answer the one back from Nika. Cherryo's going to be a bit careful himself, because he'll take a bit of poke.
And now dashing in, not going to find it, is Variety. Now the crushing wave can come through. Good hammer. Dragonic Corruption is going to get a little bit of damage off and a new set of cooldowns coming the way of Trixtank. Lockdown Cherryo, still hasn't found him with the breath, but eventually takes him down. Now QvoFred is here, but there's no last breath to lock him in. Doesn't even need it. Ambush leaps in. One more in hand does it. 2 kills in solo, but a gold fury for Mouse.
Oh, yes, and oh, yes! No little golden scully apple for you today, sunshine. Lovely wall out from Dardez just to deny that from coming through there. But that fight in the right-hand side there, Finch, that was great. Because there's so many little intricate things. Variety going for the pluck for the cheeky play on Cherryo. He smelt it, juked it out nicely. But then Trixtank coming in. That hammer was very, very big. It delayed the time before the knock-up into Water Hands could hit Variety again from Cherryo. And Cherryo beads to try and go for it, but it was too late already. Hammer had already done the work it needed to, and Trixtank making that turn around that play on the right-hand side. Lovely work from Dignitas.
Yeah, Trixtank's rotation really is what kept that fight going for Team Dignitas, and they needed it. They were down a bit to Mousesports. That's going to help them even things back up. But the heads-up play from Mouse to recognize that there was a big commitment on the solo side, so just come over to take the Gold Fury. I know it's a basic play, but it's a call you got to make cleanly, and they did it. Even and I hate to say it, a good Amir wall to make sure that the objective did not get stolen.
And so that gold's going to go their way, and now they're going to start being able to pressure the left-hand side a little bit more. They have the Ymir, and Ymir in the jungle is a really dangerous thing. We mentioned the walls, we saw the walls in action, but not only that, his Glacial Strike, it's so good at clearing jungle camps out in this season, especially when you've got an Agni that can sit far back over the other side of the wall and drop some bombs if he gets under pressure. Mouse are going to try and play to their advantages here. It's up to Dig to weather the storm this game now and wait for the mid-game.
You can't overstate how important it is to have a support who can clear the odd camp relatively easy, like a back harpy, a purple buff or something like that. Being able to grab those, get some of that farm for yourself that no one else is going to get anyway, and rotate over, it's huge.
And to be fair, some of the Guardians take 2-3 abilities unless you want to waste a lot of time there to clear the camps down. So having someone like Ymir that's like, okay, press 2, auto attack the big one, it's dead. That is a great scenario to be in. But you've got to get Ymir to that point first of all. If he falls behind, he does lose a bit of that luster now and again, and there's nothing worse than a behind-level Guardian, which happens, you know, every now and again.
Guess where QvoFred is again? It's over on the solo side, helping to steal the blue buff away from Nika, and they'll take it from him happily. He's not even done yet. They're going to stick around, not for the gank, though, as Nika's under the tier 1, just to help clear and give Variety some control.
And I like Dignitas' play style. It's kind of like, let Qvo farm the right-hand side of the map for the majority of the game. Zyrhoes is going to focus on farming the mid lane. And Trixtank's job is to kind of dance between duo and mid, and where needed, support on the right-hand side if required, as we saw for that kill earlier on. But for the most part, it's like, okay, Qvo controls right, Trix controls left. Arkkyl and Trix can do good work in the duo lane without having any ganks for themselves anyway. And Zyrhoes will just happily farm up, so it's all good stuff.
I'm taking a look at these duo lane. I don't know if it's a big difference in gold or just in like back timing, but Jermain has the Devourer's Gauntlets, I mean, stacked, done, and not even finished yet for Arkkyl. And they both have boots, so this is really heavily in Jermain's favor. Level 10 only just now, level 9 for Arkkyl as well, where Arkkyl used to be so ahead last game.
100 XP per minute difference between the two hunters right now. It's a lot of experience.
It is.
That doesn't mean if you get an experience, you're also getting gold on top of that, and that's why you see that bit of a swing there between the two. And so Arkkyl in this lane has to play a completely different sort of ball game compared to game 1, where he was the one with the lead and the advantage. He's the one being respectful of Jermain now and allowing Jermain to push the wave before farming it up himself.
Not going to be any gold Fury steals coming from Arkkyl this game, or at least not yet.
On. Yeah, you never know.
Not yet this moment at the very least. So Jermain is the one saying I'm very happy to, I think, to have a better game going for himself. He's 3-0-0 right now on this Rom pick. And Graham, Rom has risen recently, hasn't he, though? It really feels like we're seeing Rom all over the place. We know it's all Cyclone play, but I mean, even over here in solo, is QvoFred's lurking.
Yeah, QvoFred's lurking. Trixtank was trying to get aggressive there, but he gets spotted out. They don't know Qvo's here still. And Qvo's just hiding nicely as now Arkkyl joins this fray. Mouse, though, don't like it. They're going to back away. It's respectful, because we weren't sure where everybody was, which I like the call of like, okay, yeah, we don't get anything. Let's just back up and continue farming.
Nothing ends up happening there. Qvo could have maybe found them coming back into the jungle, but against an Ymir, especially at level 9 Ymir, not very far behind Qvo at all for a support, that would not have been a very fun fight for him.
And going back to the Rama, you mentioned like Rama started to rise again once more. I think some of that is because the auto attackers have started to come back into the fray a little bit more in the Hunter role. Not just because Pen's an option, but because both Pen and Crit are both viable opportunities here. And the Crit can be, you know, very, very strong at squishing down assassins in the later stages of the game. I'm just going to get that build online first. And Rama still has that semi-global presence, you know, gives a lot of peel, a lot of protection in the duo lane. That ultimate alone just buys enough time for teammates to rotate. We saw it in game 1. And when you've seen the likes of Nuwar in mid for this very same reason, it makes sense.
Gold Fury has already been pulled by Mouse. They're trying to burn it down. Ognibomb's committed as well.
Good
Wall is going to keep Trixtank and Arkkyl away. Shard device not enough to confirm. They got to drop it. Even after committing everything, the apple does eventually hit onto Jermain. Hammer comes out from Trixtank too, but there's no immediate follow-up.
No, they're in trouble though, because Dardez and Jermain both got hit by that. And Dardez is going to be the focal point now. Can't land the freeze as the ultimate came out of QvoFred, and now the carries are alone and need help.
Coming in now is Nika with the Stygian Torment that does control Trixtank as Jermain is up in the air and trying to find the snipes onto the backside. It was enough to get him out of danger as Variety continues to lurk in the waters. Not going to find anything. Cherryo's ultimate's down. Use that one onto Variety as Tingz gets plucked back into the entire team.
But he plucked him in towards QvoFred. It was already low and Qvo could die, but he can't find the in-hands. Qvo will fall to Cherryo though, but BigManTingz ends up going down too.
Had to commit too much there because he couldn't find the kill any faster. Arkkyl does eventually take down Jermain as well. Ends up being a 1-for-2, it looks like, overall in favor of Team Dignitas. But remember, Mouse was the one starting the Gold Fury, and with a significant advantage, at least positioning-wise, Dignitas shut that down.
Yeah, Mouse invested everything they had in that Gold Fury, and they didn't burst it in time. Period. That's all it was. Like, they used all the ability. They used the wall to block people off. They used the Ymir ultimate, all the Agni bombs, every bit of damage they could, but they didn't factor in how tanky that Gold Fury was going to be and how much damage they could put out. That was the mistake, and Dignitas punished them for it.
Variety now taking the 1v2 rather confidently. Does not seem deterred. At least lands the pluck. Not going to follow anything more than that once the carpet came down.
He's got Void Stone too. And
Sure.
one thing you want to do as a solo laner is if you can itemize towards your the jungle opposition and the solo opposition. And Cherryo's in trouble.
A lot of damage come out from Variety. Already used the pluck though, and just going to be able to walk away with that extra movement speed, so he's gone. But Variety...
And that Void Stone gives him magical protection, also reduces the amount of damage the magical damage dealers are doing, so it's a win-win. Qvo, though, going for a hot little play. I don't feel a little bit on the riskier side of things there. Instead,
this is unnecessary! Doesn't get pulled back in, but had to use the beat. So unnecessary!
That was trying to make a big play, and it didn't work out. That happens sometimes, you know, but you can see the game plan from it. On the left-hand side, the Arkkyl didn't panic there. I like it. He just patiently waited. I don't know if Dardez knew his beats were down, in all honesty. I think if he knew the beads were
he'd have went for
there,
it, yeah.
He might have looked for it, or he might have expected the Ijutsu to come out anyway. The moment you make cast freeze, it feels like he's sneezing, because he goes, and then frost breaths, and people can react to that window of knowing it's coming through.
Chooses not to freeze this Dardez. Instead, they'll turn their attention back towards the Gold Fury pit, because remember, it is still standing. Mouse may have pulled it last time, but they were not able to take it. Dignitas slowed down sort of this lead that Mousesports have been trying to build for themselves and found a couple picks.
I love BigManTingz on Agni, though. I'm going to say I think Agni's definitely his best god in the mid lane. He just seems to have full control of this. He's not scared of using all the different combinations available from his kit. Knowing when to use Path of Flames, knowing when to drop bombs over the wall. He's not scared to throw them out, too, because that poke is a big talking point. It is considerably going to get better and better as the game goes on. And just keeps Dig on the back foot, knowing that, you know, they lost half their health from 2 bombs that rained down, and now do we want to engage this?
And this is perfect. The poke you were just talking about, Zyrhoes has to think, do I want to back or do I want to stay at half health? This is what BigManTingz able to do, and those bombs should be back up for him shortly. Now Mouse trying to force Zyrhoes to make the choice as they position around Gold Fury. Cherryo's here on the right side.
It's really up to Trixtank and Variety on the front line to cause some problems for them. They're trying to bait out the wall like just that. Because trying to pick off Trixtank's not easy. You freeze him, sure, but then he can ult away and leap away if he needs to anyway. But now it's going to be a hard engage from Mouse and the Gold again, just trying to bring them in. But look where Qvo is.
Oh, they're going to collapse. Variety and Qvo are on the back side, and Mouse recognized it and turned their attention directly towards that. A bit of a 2v2 for now. Variety pulls Cherryo back in. Crushing wave, but he gets ridden by the last breath. QvoFred, the Surfer, takes down Cherryo, and now he's out of there. The strike's going to land on Nika as well to try and control him. Tail Whip comes out and mounted archery for a little bit more damage from Arkkyl. They couldn't find any more kills, but they force Mouse back.
And that was a big play there overall. Surfing QvoFred. Sir Cat can just ride that wave for victory. It worked out really well for them. Because honestly, Cherryo was just trying to survive there. He knew he was in trouble, and he's like, all right, well, I'll try and get some damage out and hope my team turn up, or, you know, I make them disengage, maybe. Didn't work out, but now Dig, they're the ones with the Gold Fury in their sights, and Jermain, oh, he took way more damage than he bargained for.
He does have the ultimate available, and he's going up into the air. Mousesports, they steal the Gold Fury. I don't think it was the shot from Jermain, but certainly something came out. Jermain takes down QvoFred as well. Team Dignitas may have gotten a nice fight, but the Gold Fury goes to Mouse.
Wow, and just like game 1, you saw the Gold Furies where Dig stole them away. Same thing for Mouse there. A nice back and forth encounter. BigManTingz, I'm not sure it was him or it was the dot that was from BigManTingz or Jermain with a snipe. I wasn't sure if the snipe came out.
I don't think the snipe came out from Jermain either, so it might have been Tingz. Nika was there too, and Cerberus certainly has some damage, so I'm not sure, but it's certainly Mouse were able to take it away. And people always say EU are slow while they start things up. People don't go for objectives. This is why it's not the easiest thing in the world to confirm these, Graham.
Well, let's go back and see exactly how this works. It looks
was
like
Nika.
It might have been Nika. Well, we'll see the sniper comes in. Oh, he did! Nice little play from Nika, just nicely timed. Perfect scenario situation. That spit does a lot of damage, I'm not going to lie. Everyone underestimates it.
Pyromancer now being looked at by Mouse. Variety could potentially get caught out. The collapse is on. Crushing wave hits as well, and he's forced to dash out. Now they can go right back towards the Pyro, but they've used a lot.
It was like damage checks. How quickly can we kill Variety? Answer, we can't yet. Not with all that investment we just put into that to try and pick it up. That was even with a Soul Reaver too, I believe, and that didn't work out well at all.
Look what Variety bought, though. I think it's the Bulwark of Hope that saved him there, Graham. What a big item pickup.
And we also mentioned in game 1 the Ancile being available. We do see it this time for QvoFred for the same reasons. 4 magicals this time in the team.
Yeah.
Now, going heavier magical compositions isn't, in my opinion, as bad as going heavy physical compositions.
Right.
Because when you go heavy physical composition, everybody can just build physical damage, which not only helps you against the team fights, but against objectives, against the neutral objectives too. Structures, phoenixes, that sort of thing. having to go heavy magical damage, it's not as easy to itemize for. At the same time as those towers and phoenixes in the general jungle are still going to hurt a lot more too.
Pluck comes out from Variety, but Qvo, I mean, he's lurking here, but I don't know what he's lurking for. It looks like he didn't want to go in off that setup. Instead, maybe trying to see if they can bring Nika a little bit lower, but Variety finds another pluck. Now Qvo goes in. Cobra's Kiss comes out. Last breath does not land. There it is. Now going to be able to apply that poison. Lurking in the waters is here too, and they're able to take him down with the 2-man gank.
Nice little work there coming out from the jungle. I love where Trixtank is in the jungle too, just cutting off the rotation option there. A little bit messy there from where Qvo threw him. And like, that's really nitpicking, but that's kind of what my job is, I guess, as a chair too, is to kind of nitpick the issues, because he threw him away and he could have thrown him towards the outside edge, so Variety didn't have to go as deep under the tower. If a turnaround kill came with someone rotating in, could have caused them a problem, but, you know, they got the kill and the tier 1 tower.
Another good gank from QvoFred. Next to them, yet another kill. 2-0-4 for Variety, who continues to have a good set for himself. We talked about how well that Bulwark of Hope has helped him out. Is it just because we don't see heavy magical compositions? I feel like we don't see Bulwark of Hope that often picked up.
Still think it's definitely a viable and useful item, but there's other things that can come before it. The Voidstone, one of the real go-tos this season, because you're against other Guardians in lane. Voidstone helps reduce their damage, the damage of the people around you. Not only that, it boosts your damage because it gives you some power. And that power for a Guardian, you don't need a whole lot of power as a Guardian, but it does help with your wave clear. It does help with people respecting you being in their face, because a full support Guardian, you'll hit him and they'll be like, ow, that kind of hurt, but you know, it didn't hurt that much. And now you've got nothing. But at least if you're beating them down consistently with that extra bit of power, it makes them have to focus you a little bit more, because it's like, okay, I can't just keep letting this guy hit me in the face and not do anything about it.
I wonder if maybe it's that the item's a little selfish too. There's a lot of good magic defense items that can kind of help, like the Shogun's Kusari.
Agreed.
And Bulwark's kind of just to keep you alive, but that's kind of what you want your solo laning to do, right?
Yeah, well, you want him to be alive, but if you can help with auras for the team, I mean, you saw the Gauntlet of Thebes last game from Variety too. Like, I feel like a lot of solo laners are greedier than they probably should be these days. I think that's something that has developed over time where, honestly, it shouldn't be just the support's job to get a Sovereignty, a Heart Ward. You know, it should be the solo laner's job too. They have the opportunity to pick up some of those items. And funny enough, Season 5, we're actually starting to see a little bit more of that.
And it could start. Yeah, look, they kind of traded a bit. Genji's Guard coming out there from Trix. They really are itemizing into this magic defense, though. That's why we see that happening so much. But yeah, I think it's because the solo laners used to not rotate as much. But here in Season 5, I feel like the solo laners are having an impact a little bit sooner maybe than what we might have been used to. I feel like it. I feel like when they're, especially when they're warriors.
I feel like we're talking more about solo laners. We talk about solo laners in the early stages of what they're going to do in the late game. Because in the early stages, they just farm against each other. No one really dies in that lane. Junglers have a hard time ganking it. And invasions are kind of tricky as Guardians anyway, so you don't see it too much over there. But in team fights, that's where they come into their own, and we're always talking about solo laners because they are the front line. They are the ones that can cause a lot of problems for the enemy team and set up the carries to look like superstars.
Maybe I've gotten used to the game kind of starting around now.
Exactly.
Maybe that's happened, yeah, right?
Exactly.
Sure.
Their job is to literally, the first 20 minutes of the game, what level am I? Cool. Did I itemize correctly? Do a couple of damage checks. And that's one thing, you know, when teams like, you'll see like carries go and damage a tank, they're doing a damage check. At the same time, we talk about the carry doing a damage check. The tank is doing a damage check, so like, okay, how much of this can I take from you? Oh my god, you're weak as hell. Like, this is easy. I can tank you for a week. And then once they know they're at that stage, that's when you'll see the solo laners be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more forward, because they know that they can just tank for half an hour and not have to worry about it.
And to clarify, certainly the game is already going, but a lot of the times, right around now to like the 26-minute mark, we see this time period a lot of the times be where one team can kind of start breaking away from the others. I mean, look how even we still are between these games. It's so much harder to try and snowball an early lead. It feels like now there's so many ways you can kind of back up, find farm on the map, keep the lead from getting too crazy, and then right around this mark is when we really start seeing breaking open.
I'll tell you what, this month, this Gold Fury is very important now. Mouser have the last two. They are down on kills, and tower position is actually ever so slightly in favor of Dignitas, because Mouse's tier 1 on the right-hand side is already down. But the next Gold Fury could be very telling, and it might just be the dance around the Gold Fury that turns into a Pyro, a Fire Giant, you know? Can't really lose a team fight terribly around the Gold Fury. And if Mouse get this Gold Fury, then the Goldies, you know, just going to further continue in their favor.
I feel like we haven't seen a whole lot yet from Cherryo either on this hub block pick. He's been getting pressured, hasn't gotten to use the crushing wave offensively like you want to see it either, so that's something that could certainly be a big factor for them around the Gold Fury. Is Cherryo getting to be offensive or forced to be defensive?
Now, one of the reasons you've not seen too much of Cherryo is A, he's just farming up, obviously, to get those items online. But number 2 is his duo lane was winning. And because his duo lane won in the early stages with Jermain getting those 2 kills, Arkkyl went passive mode. I am Hachiman and I shall farm. When the Hunter plays that safe, it's very hard to gank. You're going to have to overextend and overcommit. And one thing you don't want to do against Dig here as a Hebo, overextend and overcommit, because they will all in you straight afterwards if you use your whole kit. So instead, you can't really gank right-hand side. Variety's shown that multiple times. And trying to get Discordia, well, it's trickier as the game goes on, so why not just farm? Team fights is where we'll see the Hub War maybe make an impact. Granted, though, he's not done a whole lot because he's not really had to so far.
The opportunity has not quite been there yet. So as long as he comes up in one of these big team fights for them, like you were mentioning, then everything will be okay. Some of these Gold Fury fights, he's had a chance, but Qvo and Variety in particular have kind of given him a hard time. If he can make it to if he can make it to Arkkyl, make it to Zyrhoes, and get that burst off before they can answer, though, that's huge. Already, though, the Mad Guy's cloak coming in from Arkkyl is going to be a little harder.
And it is a bit of a trickier composition this time for Dignitas to play into, because what Mouse have, they have the Hub War and the Agni. BigManTingz is a big threat, and they need to make sure he's not just allowed to sit on the backline and drop bombs like he keeps on forgetting. But what ends up happening is that they've got to deal with the Hebo as well. So if you focus the Hebo, the Agni drops bombs. You focus the Agni, the Hebo's using water hands on you every 2 seconds.
It's a lot to try and keep track of,
so you've got to try and balance your comp around who's going on who's taking who out of the fight. Can we pick one before the fight to make the actual situation better and easier to handle?
Sentry Ward going away at Trixtank, who's the one that's on vision control. So now Team Dignitas have a bit of control of at least the vision around that area. Mousesports might have to wait a little bit longer before they want to try and start this one up. But which one of these teams are you expecting to start this one sooner?
Oh.
Maybe not win the late game, but start this very next fight.
I thought you were going to ask, like, who do you reckon wins the late game? Because I was going to be like, I have no clue. Because it's actually really tight between these two teams in terms of, you know, compositions. They both bring a lot. Trixtank, Variety, going to be a very strong front line, but also give the coerce buff to Arkkyl, and then Zyrhoes in the late stage. That's where Discordia can really shine in team fights in the jungle, because one quick strike burst combo and carries are going to die. I do think, though, that it'll probably be Mouse that starts up the Gold Fury first, more than likely.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
They have the comp to do it. They can burst it down heavily enough. They've just not proven it with what they've done so far.
Look at all these bubbles. This Dignitas roster, man, they are trying to make sure they can't get hit by that first water spout, or the Agni Bomb, some of that rain CC that's so difficult to play around, trying to shut that down. These Mad Guys cloak, as the game has kind of plateaued here for a little while. Mouse trying to find an opening, Graham.
And it's plateaued because Dignitas want it to plateau a little bit. Mouse have just not had an opportunity as much as what they would have liked to continue this advancement. But the Gold Fury at half, and Dignitas all around.
Cherryo gets out some good damage. Digi and Torment not going to be able to pull anyone in. And QvoFred is going in on a Jermain, trying to see if he can lock him down, forced to jump away. A Golden Apple of Discord hits no one, but the Unruly Magic does. Jermain already fallen. Trixtank is in the Dragonic Corruption. They can continue to try and burn this Gold Fury.
Love what Nika did there. He engaged and forced the fight, but the Gold Fury getting low now. Nika gets plucked in. Bombs rain down. The Gold Fury's still alive, but Mouse will take it away.
Mouse find the Gold Fury, but can they escape with their lives? QvoFred eventually tracks down Nika. Good control from Dardez in that fight with the freezes and with the walls to try and help them get the gold.
Fitch, that shouldn't be happening there. You killed Jermain, and that's one carry off the table. Dignitas there should have been fighting a little bit more, pushing them back before just trying it all in the Gold Fury. Be respectful of an Agni. Be respectful of a Hub War's burst damage that can come through. They just didn't, and that just cost them the Gold Fury where it shouldn't have been the case. Great work from Nika at the start of the fight, though. He did keep Zyrhoes on the back foot, making sure he burnt those beads with the engagement from himself, and making sure Arkkyl was focusing him too. But QvoFred did enough work on the other side with Variety to kill Jermain, which made it that 4v5.
And they had a choice to make, because Dardez had a good wall on the Gold Fury pit after they lost Jermain, and Team Dignitas, instead of trying to force their way around it, went for the objective as Pyro goes their way, when maybe they could have tried to just push past and force a fight.
Dardez is going to play around that Frost Breath a little bit better, but those bombs caused a lot of problems. I don't know how Qvo found that angle, because Batman Sobek couldn't get through that little wall gap, but I tell you what, the Scorpion did just then. And that was close for QvoFred, but now the chase is on.
QvoFred is back, but I think the fight is still going on. Stidgy and Torment holds them in place for the bombs from BigManTingz. Dardez takes down Trixtank. Jermain's shots might have been off the mark, but the freeze sure wasn't. Shards of ice, nowhere for variety to go. BigManTingz gets that one. Cubo's going in, sees some low health targets, but gets punished himself.
Poison did not spread, and now Cuvo will drop to the bomb down. Dig hung around too long. Cuvo recalled to base. The rest of the team still thought they'd be okay to hang around, and then reinforcements came through from Mouse because Jermain, he had everything available. His ultimate was up. Zyrhoes looking for a hot play.
Zyrhoes, no.
You might steal it.
No, not going to have the opportunity. Nika just kind of steps on him when he walks up to the Fire Giant. Mousesports and the Fire Giant going to be getting the Fire Giant after winning that team fight rather handily.
In the jungle, it's a dangerous game to play against Mousesports this game. Those walls are going to cause some problems. Yeah, you've got your abilities that can get over those walls and things, but if they're on cooldown, you can't. It's very, very much that simple. And the wall, very regular. Not only that, you've got Nika breathing breath at the back of your neck that's slowing you down, which just allows all these bombs to drop from BigManTingz and Dardez. From BigManTingz and Cherryo, I should say.
You're kind of all over the spectrum, aren't you? You got like the hot breath, then the freeze, and so, but then like burned by BigManTingz, but then cooled back down by Cherryo. You're kind of all over the like temperature spectrum.
You have to be, I guess. I mean, fire and water combine nicely. The other thing you need is, instead of Ymir for ice, they need Sylvanas.
Yeah, maybe like Kukulkan, like for some wind in there too. Yeah, like an avatar type thing.
Fire, water, and grass for all the Pokemon types, you know?
That's not all of them.
I mean, they're the only ones that really matter.
No,
to be fair, Squirtle's the only real one that matters, and don't even at me because he becomes Blastoise, which is the best Pokemon in the world.
I guess so. Tier 2 tower under siege by Mousesports. No, Dignitas not going to try and defend this one. Cuvo and Variety aren't even here. They're backing now.
Now, this is where it gets tricky for Mouse on offense, okay? Because they'll get the tier 2 towers. The Phoenixes, they're a bit of a tricky issue. They didn't rope it up, then they went to mid, came back looking for a pick. So they're going to try and pressure left because everyone's going to mid and Variety's in the right-hand side.
Yeah, I think they recognize Variety wasn't here.
What's he doing?
The Stripe is going to land. Arkkyl using the Mad Archer to find some more damage. Golden Apple of Discord does find its way onto Cherryo, who's forced to retreat. Phoenix is low, but still stands. Dignitas able to hold.
Will take a bit of time for that to regen, but I don't think Mouse want to continue the aggression. I think Dignitas kind of called Mouse bluff there, with Variety being that deep on the right-hand side still. I think they thought they were just going to take the towers, and Variety's like, well, okay, I'm just going to push a tier 2 on the right, because, yeah, sure, they've got a tier 1, tier 2, and a tier 2 to take in the middle and right-hand side. But, you know, it's going to take them a while to do that, so I can just fall up on the right-hand side. Mouse's call, try and take that Phoenix, just not enough damage at that point in time.
They still got some tier 1 towers to clean up as they grab the one in mid. Still a tier 1 in solo and a tier 2 over there. So lots of gold to add into the pockets of Mousesports. And this is really where those gold leads come from. It is going to start to mean less and less here before too long. Still some blessings to sell, a couple items to finish. So it is relevant for now. But Mouse maybe only have another push or two where this gold lead really is going to matter.
Yeah, because gold eventually just comes to naught, where it's just down to power potions more than anything else and additional wards. Like you said, most people pretty much full build, although relics haven't really been upgraded by Dignitas. That makes a bit of a swing, and same can be said for Mouse. So when the relics are fully upgraded, that's when it's like, okay, gold no longer matters.
Yeah, there's certainly still going to be some relevance to this gold lead here now. And for these next couple of pushes for Mouse as they grab the Gold Fury, we're getting a real up close and personal look at the Gold Fury getting taken down. It does not look friendly, does it? That's a sad situation if you're the Gold Fury.
It's pretty mean that 3 gods come round to steal your gold every few minutes. You're like, oh, I rose from the dead. Oh no, they're back to kill me again. It's not a nice life. You know,
it isn't.
Think about it.
Yeah, always under.
Think about the Fire Giant. He's trapped in chains in a pit, and he's just like, cool. I just want to live.
Is he trapped? He comes in on a comet.
Well, I mean,
he rains in from the sky.
He used to come out of a chest.
That's true.
And like be attached to chains.
How is he in there? I don't even know.
He's a hard life, that Fire Giant.
Yeah.
No one really gives him the credit. He's probably claimed more lives than some gods in the game.
Fire Giant is going to be falling off of Mouse here in the next few seconds.
He's claimed more lives than Ganesh.
Probably, because
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, he's been around.
Poor FG. Bet his assists are pretty high too. Thinking about that, he's probably #1 for assists.
Tier 2 tower going to fall as well. Mouse cleaning up all of the structures, even without the Fire Giant buff anymore, and Dignitas kind of letting this one happen. They're pushing up in the duo side of the map, letting Zero just kind of show face.
That's fine.
So they don't want to come grab it, but they're just biding their time so they can come back and grab this Fire Giant or Mouse.
Now, there was a little play there that you can notice from Dignitas. You can see in the jungle, you got Variety and Arkkyl taking the buff. So specifically the red buff. That red buff not being down for the next Fire Giant is actually pretty big, because a member of Mouse will want to go over there, mainly BigManTingz, to pick up that red buff for the extra damage you'll have for the Fire Giant fight. But not having that red available does limit a little bit more of the burst potential Mouse has at the Fire Giant. Small little details like that that really do matter. It means that it might be a bit trickier for Mouse to get as much damage out around this Fire Giant this time round, if Dig choose to contest.
But that's what I was asking you. It sounded like you thought Dignitas should come in and take this fight on the Fire Giant. They've got to decide quickly, and it really looks like the call is not to go contest.
Sure, and that's fine too. I'm pretty sure we were just discussing a minute ago about how tricky it's going to be for a Phoenix Siege for Mousesports here.
Sure.
You saw them in a 4v5, not able to take down the left-hand side inside before Variety got back. But where's their real engage when you think about it? It's a bomb stun for setup, I guess, unless you're going to have Nika blink in.
Does have blink? They have a lot of blinks.
Well, I mean, Ymir or Nika blinking in here, useful, but then you're using blink to try and force a fight, and it's going to be awkward. They're going to have to play around that a little bit better.
When they're able to funnel them into those jungle corridors, it is a little bit strong. They won't have that available here in the lane. That's the difference. Can they still get the same effect as they're going to let Cherryo push down mid? We already see Qvo's over there to defend it, though, and try and keep those minions from getting too far.
Do you want to see a little bit of fun out of QvoFred here? I mean, he's got the Magi's Cloak and the Ancile too. I would like to see him, like, ambush in to the fight. And this sounds weird because I want to ambush in, get hit, pop the silence, his Magi's Cloak will prevent the CC, and Deathbane away, just to confuse Mouse a little bit.
Breeze comes out into Variety. Strife slows down any kind of response. Already, though, the Sobek has been very much chunked. Wall to try and keep the members away, and Mouse are coming in to put damage onto the Phoenix. Golden Apple Discord goes out. It lands on the BigManTingz last breath, but they put all of that damage into the Aegis. BigManTingz still stands. QvoFred eventually shuts him down, and Dignitas look like they want to keep taking this fight.
Good play from Dignitas there to defend. They have to get rid of the Agni
just
first
defend,
of all,
though.
and they just caught Jermain.
But this is the fight that Mouse wants. If they funnel through here, that's exactly what they want. I'm glad that they back up.
They don't have the Agni, though,
Sure.
Finch, and that's the real difference there. Yeah, they're better in the jungle using those walls to cut people off, but without the Agni, that does hurt them a little bit. Not enough to, stop them for now, but with Agni being dead, it kind of stops Mouse in the tracks of what they want to do next. They're going to have to wait for the Agni to respawn before they look to siege again.
Good defense, though, from Dignitas all around. And that was with a lot of good damage coming onto Variety early on. But again, Zyrhoes did a good job slowing down that with the Strife. Quvo comes in and finds good damage as well. Good job from Dignitas to defend that Phoenix.
And his target selection too. You want the Agni if you can.
Yes.
That's the real target. And having that golden apple connect, allow Quvo to go, hello, hello, hello. You're going to use relics on this. I can follow up. He got the poison off, and obviously with the Ancile and the Magi's Cloak, as I was just mentioning, he can sit in there for a little while before taking too much damage, because the silence from those short-range characters are going to impact them quite heavily.
Mouse is going to have to wait a little while before they can safely engage. Beads and Aegis on cooldown for BigManTingz, so probably want to at least let him get those beads back up before they come down and force the issue again. They still have another minute and about 20 seconds left on the Fire Giant for everyone else, too.
No, it's just a long waiting game now, this one. It's one of those awkward moments where Dignitas know they're behind. Dignitas know they can't aggress. They're just going to wait out the Fire Giant and wait for Mouse to make mistakes. We see more and more of this season. Specifically in your games at home, you'll see this a lot of the time too. This is the moment in the game where if I think it's done, this one's definitely not, but like I'd probably press F6 and go, please just surrender. I don't want to sit here for 20 minutes trying to defend these Phoenixes with you Muppets. I'd rather get on to the next game and lose that one too.
Well, this is what, because people always go, no, we can win, and I'm going, I don't care if we can or not anymore. Well, that's the real thing.
Yeah, and sometimes they really can, and this game, Dig really can win, because they've got a great unit for defense. That's the difference. And the way they're holding so far has been solid, but Agni's back. And Agni has the speed buff this time for extra mobility.
Has beads, but no Aegis. Keep that in mind for BigManTingz for another 38 seconds or so. Strife lands again. Good damage from Zyrhoes.
Was a good little hammer out from Trixtank, then just got the Magi's Cloak out of Cherryo, so now that's on cooldown. Means that Cherryo's going to play back again. You saw Cherryo walking forward, looking for the knockups to set up bombs. As soon as Magi's Cloak's not available, they have to back away.
Mousesports, I think, are done with this push for now.
Yep.
And that's good discipline from them. Fire Giant was going to fall off at about 20 seconds when they made the decision to leave. So instead, go back, wait for the Fire Giant to come up again, get a fresh one, and make one more push with that around their waists.
Now, the Fire Giant's going to, like I said, going to be up in about a minute's time. I'd like to see Dig push out of the waves. Maybe send someone to the left-hand side now. They've got the ability to. Maybe send Variety over there with Qvo. Clear out the waves, try and look for the tier 2. Just put some pressure on the other side of the map, you know? They might not have the window 2, though, at the moment, because it doesn't look like that's going to be the case this time round. Mouse just going to take some glorified bounties in the jungle, can head back to base quickly, buy those wards they want, and get that extra speed buff from the Pyromancer.
Look at these differences, though, between Jermain and Arkkyl. Jermain has really elected to go into this crit side of things. The Rage and the Deathbringer, no extra safety, at least in the build form, as opposed to Arkkyl, who's got the Magi's Cloak, going more attack speed pen.
And the reason he's gone pen Arkkyl here is because he's going to see more of Nika and Dardez than anything else in this game. He's not going to get to that back lane very often, so he just needs to help bring down the tanks on the front side, because if he can do that, his Assassin and Zyrhoes on this team will be the ones to kill off the back line. His job, hit those tanks in the face.
He'll be able to chip away at them with that Kin-size Executioner, try and bring them a little bit lower, so he certainly has the damage to do it. Fire Giant. We've already described the miserable life he leads, apparently, where he spawns into existence only to get taken down, and
What a brutal life.
Mouse are going to do it.
What a brutal life.
Especially with Cherryo, water's super effective against fire.
Really? Is that what
It
you
really
went?
is, yeah, it is.
In this game, it doesn't do more, though. Still the
No,
same.
it doesn't. No.
Wish it did. That'd be cool.
No, it would not.
How would that not be cool?
It would absolutely
It
not
would make
be cool.
counters way more interesting. Of
Like every
okay,
time Sylvanas comes out, pick like Agni Soul.
you can see Ymir melt to Sololane Agony. I'm melting! The ice, he becomes what? He becomes Hebo. He actually transforms.
Oh, you think that he would melt into
Yo,
Hebo?
He transforms
That'd be
as a
cool.
character. There we go.
Yeah, I'd play that.
Match of the day, maybe. Maybe Smite 2.
Smite 2, the sequel, whenever that gets released. And Mouse, ready to start moving into the Phoenix. They've got the minions, and they forced back a little bit. Team Dignitas, QvoFred is lurking on the side, trying to find a way to jump in. Mouse needs another minion wave. It's been cleared now by Dig.
And now Cherryo going to pressure again. Magi's Cloak available, so he's going to look for the knockups every time, looking to set up Agony Bombs. If he can find that combo, that's a half-health target, specifically with the Soul Reavers those two possess.
The minion wave is here now. The go-in is from Dardez. Freeze
Zyrhoes.
comes out, forces the beads out from Zero. Variety has already been chunked. Nika finds it with a paralyzing spit. Trixtank is transformed, but he's transformed in a bad neighborhood. They force him right on back. He's trying to use the AoE Coerce, but it's not enough. Mouse forces him away, and now this Phoenix is theirs.
Tanks not available for Dignitas. Why? Trix has had to transform. He's not going to have an opportunity to do anything there. Variety dead, and Variety's dead for another 50 seconds, so this could break the game a little bit more now, because they can start to siege a little bit easier this time round. Notice that Cherryo still holds that ultimate.
Graham, this game is so important. Dignitas need every bit of help they can get in these differentials, and Mouse trying to come in and play a bit of spoiler. Bombs land on the Trixtank, stuns land on the Trixtank. The Mountain Archery comes out, but Jermain blows Qvo up the moment he comes into the back line. Trixtank falls as well. Double kill now for Jermain. Only Zyrhoes and Arkkyl still stand to try and slow down Mousesports, but the mid Phoenix has already fallen. Mouse ready to barrel now into the Titan room. Dignitas needed this to win, but I don't know if they can find it.
Well, they're going to have to go to a game 3 here, because all 5 around will not be able to be stopped by Arkkyl. And Zyrhoes alone here. They won't even get a kill at the end. Mousesports take it to a game 3.
So close right now in both of these regions. This is it. Week 6, final 2 days, final day for Europe. And it's going to come down to the wire. Dignitas needed every edge they could get. And they've already given one up to Mouse here, but I got to ask you, who's going to be your MVP from that Mouse squad? Not an easy task to vote.
Probably Agony. I think BigManTingz is probably the one that's standing out for me. If I have to pick an actual individual on that team, I think BigManTingz in the early game made a big impact, getting 2 kills for his team, and then transitioned that well into the later stages. Sure, when he got picked apart, they couldn't do anything, but they played through the Agony. He's my MVP. That's my MVP, but you guys get the real vote.
No one cares what your vote is, Graham. I don't think anyone cares. Let's get it over to the desk.
I know.
Oh, it's us, the desk. That was pretty quick. Tom and Tully here, breaking down game 2. And Dignitas fall into the mouse trap. Now, the biggest question here, Tully, is plus minus is important. Does this take them out of the race for the land?
No. If they win the next game, they're going to be at 7-2. Now, what matters is how they do next up against Obey Alliance. If they win that one, they're guaranteed. If they lose, they're going to be tied with Energy at 7-3. That's when the plus-minus is going to take into account, and that's when Energy will trump Dignitas.
So when it comes down to it, do they have to win the next? If assuming they win this set, does Dignitas have to win the next set in 2 games?
No.
3? Does just
as long
win
as they
outright?
win, then they'll be at 8-2, whereas Energy will be at 7-3.
So right now, very important for Team Dignitas to not repeat what happened in game number 2. We're all focused on land, but let me focus on Mouse real quick here. This was a standout performance, really nice stuff against Team Dignitas, man.
So the biggest difference to me was Arkkyl game 1 versus Arkkyl game 2. Game 2, he can't get close to the composition of Mousesports against an Agni and a Habwa. Even with Hachiman's first ability extending that range from 55 to 85 units, you're not going to get close to the Agni or the Habwa.
No, not at all, and it was a wonderful pick. Watching BigManTingz, who is your MVP, make those initiations from a distance. Long-range stun and, of course, tons of damage. He was number 1 on the damage charts for a while there. Not sure if he ended it there, but he was dominating the game for a long portion of it.
And also, it was just amplified a little bit, right, by the Ymir and the Cerberus getting in the front line there, controlling so much space, that ghastly breath, amplifying the damage over time there by BigMan. And there was just so much focus fire also that fade away. Cool guys don't look at explosions, and BMC is a cool guy. But yeah, even like if you have to worry about BigManTingz, then you have to also worry about Cherryo playing the Habwa. So I like the fire and water combination they had there.
Yeah, the long-range knock-up and the long-range stun. Having mages with that long-range crowd control is really important. And like you said, it really kept the Hunter out of the conversation. So Mouse making some nice moves here. And again, you know, just looking at the prowess of this team, it's the same people. We also didn't mention Dardez, who I think was a big part of that win as well. And, you know, I sit in Mixer chat a lot. And one of the biggest things I noticed was finally chat's paying attention to the support players. Everybody was like, Dardez is fantastic and consistent. Dardez is the one player. We've seen Cherryo show up. We've seen Jermain show up. But Dardez is the one player that consistently comes out and performs.
He's always playing aggressive. That's just kind of his motto. It doesn't matter what he's piloting here in this game or in the last one playing the Kumbhakarna. And as we head into game 3, I expect even more aggression from not just Dardez, but also the rest of Mousesports, because it worked out for them here in this game.
Picks and